The Smurfs 2025 is, without doubt, one of the worst movies of the year. I can't believe Paramount had the audacity to greenlight such garbage. I can't stress enough how tired I am of reboots, remakes, and sequels getting produced without any substance or imagination whatsoever. In case you're not already aware, Rihanna voices Smurfette in this movie, and all the promotion for this movie is just Rihanna is Smurfette. That's it. All they want to do is jam that information into your skull. It's almost as if this movie was only produced primarily as an excuse to give her some acting work. She doesn't even sound like Smurfette. I can't stress that enough. This movie seems to rely almost entirely on Rihanna's fame just to get people to go to the theaters, and it's just pathetic. James Corden was also a terrible choice for this movie. Just because he was in the Trolls movies doesn't mean he has to be in this movie. I honestly can't stand James Corden. I just wish they stopped hiring him for roles like this. John Goodman, on the other hand, actually does a pretty good job as Papa Smurf. I honestly didn't realize that it was him at first, so I think he's pretty good. The script for this movie, on the other hand, should have been chucked into a blender, because it honestly feels like it was written by a 4-year-old. There was no passion behind this movie whatsoever, other than the sheer excuse to make some money. There is not a single positive thing I can say about this story. It is just plain bad. A part of me wanted to give this movie the benefit of the doubt. I thought maybe the critics were exaggerating a little bit. Surely this movie couldn't be that bad. But I was completely wrong. How many more Smurf movies do we need until we can safely say we've had enough? We already had 2 live-action movies with Hank Azaria, as well as a 3D animated movie. We honestly didn't need a 4th one. Nobody was asking for this movie. The CGI was terrible. I appreciate what they were trying to do though. They were trying to create something like Into the Spider-Verse, where the characters at least look 2D. That's what people have been begging for a lot nowadays. They want a return to traditionally animated films. Now, obviously, they're not going to make a 2D animated Smurf movie. That would be asking way too much from Paramount. The last thing Hollywood is going to do is actually make something people want. So instead, they decided to at least make it look 2D, yet somehow they found a way to mess it all up. Maybe if they had a bigger budget, this animation style might have paid off. But with a budget of only $50 million, it's no surprise the movie looks so cheaply put together. I would really be happier if this movie looked more like The Lost Village. The animation just looked so much better in that movie. This movie would have made a lot more sense if it were just an animated film. The Smurfs don't even interact with any humans in the real world, so making it live action was just pointless. Gargamel is hardly even in this movie. Instead, it's Gargamel's younger brother, Rosamel. Rosamel's plan is to obtain 4 magic books, which he can use to rule the world with evil and destroy all the goodness in the universe. Rosamel also has an evil henchman named Joel, and he's also an animated character. Plus, there were a few other animated henchmen that appear in a few random scenes. It doesn't really make any sense that they were animated either. I can understand why Rosamel and Gargamel should be animated, because they're from the Smurfs dimension. But there's no reason Joel had to be animated. He's not from the Smurfs world, as far as we know. He certainly doesn't dress like he's from the Smurfs universe. So why is he a cartoon? If he were live action, it would give Rosamel and the Smurfs someone to interact with other than just animated characters. Say what you want about the original movies, but at least they took advantage of the live action setting. I admit the original films didn't exactly do the Smurfs justice either, but at least they interacted with humans. The idea of Neil Patrick Harris and his wife discovering the Smurfs and trying to help them get back to their world just makes for a better character dynamic. Yes, the story wasn't what people wanted, but at least it worked better. Speaking of which, I know of a character from the original series that would have been way better than Rosamel. Scruple was a character from the original series. He was introduced in Season 6 as Gargamel's apprentice. I grew up watching the original show, and I feel like Scruple would have made for a better villain than Rosamel. If the writers of this movie actually took the time to watch and research the original show, maybe they would have gone with Scruple. I think it would be interesting to see what Scruple would look like if he were actually played by a child actor. Anything is better than Rosamel. Out of all the new characters in this movie, the one that I hate the least would have to be No Name Smurf. Now don't get me wrong, I still hate him, but I can definitely tolerate him over the other characters. I don't like Ken either. He's really just Papa Smurf with a different colored beard. Ken is Papa Smurf's brother, who for some reason lives in France instead of Smurf Village. After Papa Smurf gets kidnapped by Rosamel, the Smurfs had to go find Ken for help. But you know what? I was thinking, wouldn't it be more interesting if they decided to get help from Grandpa Smurf instead? In the original series, Grandpa Smurf lived outside of the village when he was originally introduced in the show. So it would make sense that if Papa Smurf was in danger, they should go get help from Grandpa Smurf. I really think that would have made for a better plot. Grandpa Smurf was a very popular character when he was introduced in the original series. And I think it's kind of sad that characters like Grandpa Smurf never get included in any of these movies. I think fans of the original show would easily prefer Grandpa Smurf over Ken. Ron is an even more pointless character. He barely gets any screen time. Same case with Moxie Smurf, who's really just shoehorned into the script for some reason. This movie could have worked if they took more time developing these characters, but honestly, I couldn't recommend this movie to anyone. I feel like if this movie has proven anything, it's that the original live-action films weren't really that bad. Hank Azaria did a great job as Gargamel in these movies, and you can't recreate that kind of success. I feel like I have a newfound appreciation for the original films. I think Hollywood needs to learn to just let franchises die. I think this isn't the last time we'll see Smurfs on the big screen. 20 years from now, they'll probably try again. The 2040s ain't that far away, so you never know. I'm giving this movie the lowest score I could possibly give. A 3 out of 10. I'm sorry, but this is just not good enough, Paramount. You only rushed out a movie for a quick buck. So you should know better than to just assume that everyone's going to enjoy it. Well, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think of the Smurfs movie in the comments, and I'll see you next time.